Now, a lot of you don't know this, but I actually studied criminology as part of my university degree, which is sitting down there, wrapped up. I still haven't framed it. As you might expect, I learned a lot about the nature of crime, and you realise several very inconvenient truths about crime. So here are 5 of them. Number 1, a society without crime is impossible. We all dream of a utopia where everyone's peaceful and it's all happy days all round. We are family. Hey. How does society define the behaviours to which we say are acceptable and those that are unacceptable? That's part of the function of crime. Human beings are fundamentally violent, greedy, and competitive. At the end of the day, we're all beasts, are we not? And unfortunately, there's always going to be a section of society that is not going to fit in to our civilized way of living. Number 2, there is no statistically significant link between depiction of crime and violence in TV, film, and actual acts of crime in the real world. Sure, many criminals in the past have cited films and TV shows for their acts of violence, but criminologists believe that those individuals were always going to commit that heinous crime one way or another. The cultural product just gave them an excuse to do it. And you hear about these crimes because they get the press, so hence you think they're frequent. But there's so many people out there that commit crimes that don't cite film and TV. Number 3, crime is subjective. Not all societies criminalise a particular human behaviour. What might be a crime in one society may not be in another. That doesn't mean that they're wrong, they're just different because they have a different history and culture. Crimes also change through the course of time. 70 years ago, it was illegal for me to even exist. And it still is in some countries. Number 4, there is always going to be a victim. In order for a crime to be defined as a crime, someone must suffer in the first place in order for the society to look at that behaviour and say that is not acceptable. Even if a behaviour is already considered a crime, someone is always going to be the victim of that crime. That's why we have the criminal justice system. It's not a perfect system, but it's the best answer we have to bring about some sense of justice. Number 5, capital punishment is not the answer. It's easy to respond to the previous point by just saying, well, just kill all the criminals and we won't have a problem. That's not necessarily going to work, even with the murderers. States used to kill people for petty crimes. And guess what? People still committed petty crime. So it's not really an effective measure to progress society because it doesn't really deter much. In regards to murder, which is a crime that's often married to capital punishment, they know the consequences of their actions. It's not like they do it and they just go, well, I didn't know that was going to happen to me. It's largely what we call a crime of passion, where they see red and they just go mental. Many criminologists believe it's not such a punitive measure that's going to stop people from performing that act in the future. It's psychological intervention at an early age. But how do you predict someone's future whim to kill? I don't know. I believe it's also very counterproductive for a state to demand good behaviour from its citizens, yet punish bad behaviour by killing people. Doesn't really send the right message. What you need to understand is that crime is a very complex system of many variables, and it cannot be explained with one very rash response. Of course, all this can be debated. It's based on theory, and there are certainly theories that argue in different directions. Thumbs up, comment, share. We can keep talking about crime. Otherwise, I've forgotten my sign-off line. It's a wrap. That's what it is. Hey, you made it to the end screen, well done. And if you're still hanging around, yes, my short film is still in the works. It's almost done. I don't have a release date for it yet, but stay tuned. It is coming. Excitement. Hashtag excitement. I'm up with the kids these days.